Today we're going to travel back in time and meet one of the greatest philosophers and scholars in the world. Someone who is called the second teacher, meaning the second great teacher after Aristotle. Yes, we're talking about Al-Farabi, where he comments on Greek theory, supplements incomplete theoretical information, and corrects errors that sometimes occur. He not only developed various ideas in philosophy and science, but also made significant contributions to music and sound wave theory. His ideas on acoustics and sound harmonization laid an important foundation for the development of music science and sound physics in both the Islamic and Western worlds, and his theories still inspire many people after thousands of years. His name was Abu Nasr Muhammad ibn al-Farid al-Farabi, but he was better known as Al-Farabi, referring to the city where he was born. He was born around 870 Masehi in the city of Farab in the Khorasan region, now Kazakhstan, central Iran, and Turkey, and died in the year 950 Masehi in the city of Damascus, Syria. Al-Farabi is a philosopher and Muslim scholar of the 9th century. Al-Farabi is highly respected in the Islamic world and the Western world because of his contribution to various fields of science, having an extraordinary intellectual talent since childhood. Al-Farabi spent his childhood and primary education in Farab. He then continued his education in Bokhara and pursued higher education in Baghdad. He visited important centers of learning and culture, such as Bokhara, Samarkand, Merv, and Balkh, before arriving in Baghdad. He lived in Baghdad for about 20 years, 901 to 942, and wrote most of his works there. He initially studied Arabic and Greek. He learned Arabic grammar from the grammarian and linguist Abu Bakr ibn Sarraj. Besides music and philosophy, Al-Farabi also studied arithmetic, physics, chemistry, medicine, and astronomy. At a young age, Al-Farabi learned philosophy from a famous teacher named Abu Bishr Mada ibn Yunus. In a short time, he was able to master various sciences and began to write his own works. However, his life journey was not easy. Al-Farabi was not only a philosopher, he was also an artist and musician. He was the inventor of musical notes. He wrote about this discovery in his book. Al-Farabi's works influenced many Muslim and European thinkers in the Middle Ages. He was known as murshid al-falasifah, or teacher of philosophers. Al-Farabi's great stature in philosophy, his great stature in the world of music. All his knowledge of music is explained in a great book, Musica al-Kabir, the Great Book of Music. This book is the main reference of music in the East because it influences the basics of original Arab music. While in the West and Europe, Al-Farabi's book is the only book of music, the most phenomenal and most famous of the Middle Ages, which was also studied by musicians and Western musicians. By them, it began with the translation of Al-Farabi's work, al-Musiqi, al-Kabir, by a Jew named Joseph ben Judah ibn Aknan in the 12th century, and subsequently spread rapidly into the lingua franca of the time, mainly Italian, German, Spanish, French, and English, further exploring the potential of music and science in general to become what it is today. The translator of French, Rudolf Durlinger, said that Al-Farabi was the inventor of the notation system for the rhythm of the vocal voice. Fadlo Sahadi is dedicating himself to Al-Farabi in his third book, Philosophies of Music in Medieval Islam, which explicitly summarizes Al-Farabi's musical thinking. In this great music book, Al-Farabi explains the interval relationship between notes and fingerprints on the string. He discusses very closely the size and combination of intervals into tetrachords and the combination of tetrachords into groups or notes. In that book, too, Al-Farabi classifies the types of vocals and notes as mackums or levels, which apparently have their own effects for the listener. According to him, there are 10 mackums. The first mackum is the ras mackum, which can cause positive thoughts. The second is the bayadi mackum, which can brighten and make the soul open. The third is the sikkim mackum, which resonates with the feeling of someone who is falling in love. The fourth is the sabam mackum, which makes one feel touched and touched. The fifth is the hijaz mackum, which brings out the emotions and the soul coming from someone's experience. The sixth is the nawan mackum, which is suitable for contemplation or meditation. The seventh is the jaharka mackum, which gives a sweet and touching impression. The eighth is the ajam mackum, which brings out the joy in the soul. The ninth is the kurd mackum, which is able to make you go crazy. The last is the Iraqi mackum, which indicates a tense and scary event. These 10 mackums of Al-Farabi's notes in their development become a mandatory curriculum when learning the science of recitation or the art of reading the Quran, which is still popular to this day. Al-Farabi is not only famous for his mastery of music theory, but also famous for being a very playful person. He is a musician as well as a song composer. There was a time when Sultan Damascus Saif al-Dawla asked the musicians to play music. Al-Farabi, who was there at the time, complained that there were some notation errors played by the musicians so that it sounded less beautiful. The Sultan, who heard Al-Farabi's criticism, finally, he asked them to play music. The hypnotic bug, the melody that Al-Farabi played, made the audience laugh out loud. Then they cried their eyes out until the last music made them fall asleep. It is not strange for the music maestro that his genius discovery of the formula of the mackum notes in practice can affect the psyche and biology of humans. It has a very positive impact. It can calm, encourage, heal, and unite people, and even become a medium of communication across cultural and religious boundaries. This is what Ibn Farabi believes: how a series of sound vibrations become notes in a certain order, creating beauty that can influence the soul and is also rich in philosophical values behind it. And above all, it is a means of glorifying him. So we often find many Sufi orders using music as a medium, and even many spiritual guides are skilled at playing musical instruments. In his book, The Great Book of Music, which covers the fundamentals of music, has become an important reference for the development of Western classical music. Al-Farabi discussed music theory not only from an aesthetic perspective, but also from a scientific and mathematical perspective. He investigated how sound is formed, how it propagates, and the relationship between vibration and harmony. His insights demonstrate that Al-Farabi was one of the first scientists to grasp the fundamental concept of sound waves long before modern theories of acoustics were developed. Al-Farabi explained that sound originates from the vibrations of an object that travel through the air in the form of waves. He realized that the frequency of the vibrations determines the pitch of a sound, while the amplitude affects the strength of the sound volume. This concept later developed into the modern theory of sound waves in physics. In addition, he examined how physical factors such as string length, tension, and the material of a musical instrument can affect the sound produced. In his treatise, he explained how changes in these elements can change the frequency of sound produced by a musical instrument. For example, shorter, tighter strings will produce sounds with higher frequencies. In addition to studying the physical properties of sound, Al-Farabi also developed a system of music theory that was highly advanced for his time. He divided musical tones based on mathematical ratios, similar to the musical scales used in Western and Eastern music. He emphasizes that music stimulates emotions, regulates behavior, and strengthens the listener's morals. Many modern readers use this work to understand classical music theory and practice. This theory has similarities with the wave laws developed much later by European scientists such as Mersenne, 1588 to 1648, and Galileo Galilei, 1564 to 1642. One of Al-Farabi's important ideas in the field of acoustics was the concept of resonance. He understood that an object can begin to vibrate if it is influenced by the vibrations of another object with the same or a nearby frequency. Al-Farabi developed a scale system based on highly accurate mathematical calculations. He divided the octave into intervals with specific ratios, similar to the European musical scale system later developed by Guido d'Arezzo. Al-Farabi's concepts on music and acoustics were influential not only in the Islamic world, but also in Europe. His ideas became the basis for scholars such as Ibn Sina, Avicenna, who continued the study of the psychology of music and the effects of sound on human health. Mersenne, who developed the laws of string vibration based on the principles put forward by Al-Farabi, Pythagoras, and Aristotle. Although living earlier, their concepts of mathematical harmony in music were expanded by Al-Farabi with a more detailed explanation of sound waves. The relevance of Al-Farabi's theory in the modern world. The theory of sound waves developed by Al-Farabi remains relevant today and is applied in various fields, such as audio technology. The principles of resonance and vibration that he discusses are used in the design of modern musical instruments, speakers, and microphones. Acoustic architecture. His theories on sound propagation are used in the design of rooms with optimal acoustics, such as theaters, concert halls, and large mosques. Music psychology. His research on the relationship between music and emotions continues to be developed in the field of music therapy. In this phenomenal work, Al-Farabi wrote that music can create feelings of calm and comfort. Music can also influence morals, control emotions, develop spirituality, and cure ailments such as psychosomatic disorders. Therefore, for Al-Farabi, music can be a therapeutic tool. Music is something that arises from the human innate ability to perceive the beautiful sounds around us. A profound music theory positions music as a science that influences the human soul, explains how tone, harmony, and rhythm regulate emotions and guide humans towards spiritual harmony. He wrote with the aim of helping musicians and listeners understand music scientifically and practically. Farabi analyzes intervals, scales, and rhythms in detail. He divided musical tones based on mathematical. Al-Farabi presented a step-by-step process from theory to practice, allowing music to be taught across generations. Furthermore, emphasized the influence of music on society. He explained that wisely chosen music shapes character, improves discipline, and strengthens faith. This approach makes his work relevant as an ethical and spiritual guide, not just a theory of music. Farabi studied the relationship between frequency, interval, and psychological effects on listeners. He showed how certain combinations of notes can calm the soul or stir the spirit. Many modern music therapists use these principles for therapy and music education. He emphasized that musicians must understand the character of each note, not just play it mechanically. With this approach, music becomes a means of emotional and moral communication. The transition from theory to practice teaches that music is more than just sound. As one of the greatest scholars in Islamic history, Al-Farabi's legacy continues to inspire scientists, musicians, and engineers in exploring the relationship between sound, music, and science. Dear friends, thank you very much for staying with us until the end of the video. Please support us with your likes and comments so that we can make more interesting videos. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.